You won't believe this. Kubernetes doesn't create containers, limit CPU, or even manage networking. Linux does everything. Kubernetes just orchestrates it. And once you see this, everything makes sense. Kubernetes isn't a magic, and containers aren't a magic either. Everything happening inside a pod is simply a Linux doing its job. A pod isn't a tiny VM. It's simply a Linux process isolated with namespaces. It's having separate process ID, separate hostname, its own file system, and its own virtual network. Understand namespaces and you basically understand pods. Now when you set CPU or memory limits in Kubernetes, it's not Kubernetes enforcing them, it's Linux cgroups. And when your pod gets out of memory killed, that's a Linux kernel, not Kubernetes. And even a container itself isn't a real object. Docker or Containerd just start a normal Linux process and apply namespaces, cgroups, and OverlayFS on the top of it. And the same story continues with networking. Kubernetes doesn't create a new network stack. It uses Linux tools like IP-link, IP-route, bridges, iptable to give every pod its own virtual interface. Storage works the same way. All your volumes are just Linux file system underneath, like ext4, xfs, or lvm. And most permission denied issues are just UID or the GID mismatches. And even a Kubernetes node is nothing special. It's basically a systemd services. Kubelet is a systemd service, Containerd is also a systemd service, and the networking backend is also a systemd service sometimes. So when a node breaks, you are really just troubleshooting Linux services. At the end of the day, it all comes down to this. Pods are Linux, nodes are systemd, networking is Linux, storage is also a Linux. Kubernetes is just an orchestrator, and Linux is the engine running everything. And that's why if you want to understand Kubernetes deeply, you need to master Linux first. Watch the full video on the channel to understand why the Linux is the foundation of Kubernetes.